Thursday, May 19th, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. There's been a plane crash today, an Egypt Air flight from Paris to Cairo with 66 people on board crashed into the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Egypt, about 175 miles off the city of Alexandria near Crete earlier today. Egypt Air Flight 804, according to Greek authorities, apparently made abrupt turns and suddenly lost altitude before vanishing from radar at about 2:45 a.m. Egyptian time. The plane was an Airbus A320. It had been flying at an altitude of 37,000 feet. According to the Greek defense officials, the plane turned 90 degrees left and then a 360-degree turn toward the right, dropping from 37,000 feet to 15,000 feet, and then it was lost from the radar screens at about 10,000 feet. The Egyptians are saying it's too early to rule anything out, including technical error or terrorism. They are now running security and background checks on all of the people on board the plane to see if any of them had links to extremists. In Paris, where the flight originated and where the passengers would have had to have gone through screening, the city prosecutor's office has opened an investigation into the incident, saying no hypothesis can be ruled out at this stage. XL Catlin is said to be the lead underwriter for the all-risk program exposed to the loss of the plane. Sources say that the hull value for the Airbus A320 is around $18 million. Marsh is Egypt Air's broker. Apparently, the lead underwriter for the hull war slip is Talbot. The rest is believed to have been placed into one of Marsh's line slips into the Lloyd's market. The all-risk cover would pick up the passenger liability claims regardless of the cause of the loss of the plane, but the hull claim would be taken up by Talbot if it transpires that there was any terrorism involved or foul play. Interestingly enough, there was another air crash in Guam. A fully loaded with fuel 8-engine B-52, which was also fully loaded with armaments, crashed just seconds after takeoff at an American Air Force base in Guam. All 7 crew members miraculously made it out of the plane. It occurred about 8:30 a.m. this morning. The Air Force said that we are thankful that the crew is safe because of their quick thinking and good judgment in this emergency situation. The crew not only saved their lives, but averted a more catastrophic incident. As I said, the plane was fully loaded with armaments, i.e. bombs, and it was fully loaded with fuel. The plane was based in North Dakota, so the fuel capacity of the B-52, of course, is enormous. The captain of the doomed cargo ship El Faro that sank in the Caribbean on October 1st may have been using a storm track forecast that was 21 hours old. The storm that sank the ship, Tropical Storm Joaquin, which eventually became a hurricane, strengthening into a Category 4 storm, was a storm of particular anomalies for weather forecasters. Simply 24 hours before the storm reached its apogee, or its peak, people had been thinking that the storm was going to be a minor event. However, it quickly intensified. In ongoing hearings in Jacksonville, where the Coast Guard is collecting testimony about the sinking of the ship, they did hear from weather experts saying for some reason the data that was transmitted to the ship included correct data for wind and wave information, but the storm track was in fact 21 hours old by the time the captain received it. Other testimony indicated that the captain had told witnesses who are still alive to talk about it that his intent was to, quote, shoot under the brewing storm, which of course meant that given the fact that he did not have access to the correct storm track information, he ended up shooting into the heart of the Category 4 hurricane. In Paris yesterday, a police car was set on fire while 3 policemen actually sat inside it. They were at an event where police in Paris were protesting against public anti-cop hate. The 3 officers escaped the vehicle before it burst into flames, but were said to be in shock. The public prosecutor's office has opened an inquiry into what they're classifying as attempted murder charges. The attack on the police car was a sign of the level of animosity that French police claim they're subjected to by the youth-led protest movement sweeping France. Police unions claim that about 350 policemen have been injured since the demonstrations began in March. The demonstrations, this is France after all, are mainly focused on fiercely contested employment law reforms. German drug and chemicals group Bayer has made an unsolicited takeover approach to the U.S. seeds company Monsanto. This would create the world's biggest agricultural supplier and take advantage of converging pesticide and seed markets. Monsanto's market capitalization is about $42 billion, so the acquisition would likely be bigger than ChemChina's deal in February of this year to buy Syngenta for $43 billion. Monsanto said that its board was reviewing the proposal. The use of industry loss triggers in the reinsurance market is decreasing in recent years as high levels of reinsurer equity capital and competition on pricing has begun to pick up what normally was a pretty safe bet that was based on total catastrophe loss in a particular area. Industry loss calculations provide a useful proxy for insurance losses for major CAT claims that hit the insurance and reinsurance markets. As a result, they're widely used in transactions where the protection buyer, the insurer, wants to receive a payout if a catastrophic event causes an impact of a certain magnitude on the industry. According to Perils AG, which is a data collector based in Zurich, there are two reasons why the decrease in triggers are occurring. First is because of high levels of capitalization in the equity in the insurance industry. A number of insurers are actually holding on to more risk, determining that they can sustain a catastrophic event rather than seek outside protection. The second reason, and the more troubling reason, is that the prices of indemnity coverage, in fact, are decreasing to the point where it's more competitive to purchase indemnity coverage than it is to buy a parametric loss coverage-based product. This means that the pricing now is moving pretty closely to the actual expected losses, which is not necessarily a good thing for the reinsurance industry. That's the news for today. We'll keep an eye on the Egypt Air investigation. If it does develop that it was a terrorism event or some sort of onboard explosion, which probably seems likely right now, the plane was at cruising altitude of 37,000 feet. It would have taken some catastrophic event to brought the plane down. We'll come back and we will tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.